Hey everyone, I'm Brian from Video Games Made Me Do It, and I'm still playing Fez. And tonight I'm going to show you where all the cubes and secrets are around the bell tower and all the areas adjacent to it. So if you've not been to the bell tower yet, here's how to get to it. I know in the last video we talked about the lighthouse and the crying waterfalls. It's in the same area where you enter those, just a different doorway. So come here to this doorway, and you'll see it on the map here. You might have to wiggle the map so you can see it. Climb up and you'll find a few cube pieces. So just take your time here and you'll see them in the little maze there. And be sure to look on all sides. And you'll probably wind up getting two or three, I believe. Now when you get to the actual bell, you can get an anti-cube here. Just face it from the direction that I am and ring it in a certain order. From this side, ring it 3 times by pressing X, then flip to the right and ring it 10 times, then flip again, ring it once, then flip again and ring it 6 times. And if you do it in that order exactly, you'll get another anti-cube. And instead of going up, I decided to go back down. And you can only get in this doorway if you've lowered the water level at the Crying Falls. So be sure you've done that. And when you come in here, this area is really long and it's kind of complicated. All you get out of it is one anti-cube. It's not actually yeah, the map's kind of weird here. You'll have to wiggle it to see exactly where it's at. But this is a long area, so I decided to let the entire thing play through here just in case anyone had any trouble with it. You'll just have to work your way through cautiously and flip the map and take a few risky jumps. You'll probably die a couple of times. I know I die a few times and I don't edit it out just to show you exactly what's going on. But if you want to skip this part, that's fine. But I thought maybe if anyone was stuck, I'd leave the whole thing in. And like I said, you'll get one anti-cube, and at the end there'll be a warp zone. And I highly recommend you take that warp zone. I don't imagine you could climb all the way back to the doorway, so. Okay, so we got the anti-cube, and I'm going to warp back, and you'll have to make your way back to where you originally were at the bell tower, but it'll save time if you warp. And this time we're going to go in the doorway right at the bottom base of the bell tower if you just flip the screen around a couple of times. And there's actually nothing you can do here at this point in the game, but I just wanted to show you what this room was. I'd imagine this is one of the last rooms that you'll use in the game. I've not actually opened it yet on my save file, but you have to have 64 cubes, which I'm pretty sure is all the cubes in the game. So just keep this room in mind because we'll be coming back to it. And I'll show you where it's at here on the map just so you know exactly. Uh, so moving past that room, climb to the top of the bell tower and go in the wooden door. And in here you'll have an opportunity to get quite a few cube pieces. I'll show you where they are real quick. And make note of the doorway down the bottom left there. We'll be coming back to it. So continue up to the right and keep climbing and bomb this door here in the bottom. And there's a cube there, but also there is a doorway you can go through. So you'll definitely have to do that. Keep climbing up, spin it once to the right, and there's another cube. And there's a doorway above you, but we're actually going to go back to the bottom door and get it out of the way. So in here, this puzzle, you need to replicate this shape exactly. Looks like a Tetris block. So you need to put one in the middle and then one on top of it. And then on the back side, you need to make the exact same shape too. So just take your time here. It's not too difficult. Line all your pieces up. And I've already made the side or the shape on the back side. So now as soon as you do the front side, they'll come together and you'll get an anti-cube for it. So back at the previous room, now we're going to go in the top door. And you can get a few cube pieces here. If you jump to the right and flip the map, you'll see one immediately. So that's an easy one. And if you climb up and use the vines to get to the middle section, there's one right there. Then go back up the vines and spin the map and keep climbing up to get to the chest. And that'll get you another key. And there's another doorway in this room and it's right in the middle. So go back down, it's a wooden door right in the front. And there's plenty of cube pieces to grab in this room, and a solid cube as well. So we'll go through them real quick, just try to get an idea. When you're climbing up the first section midway up, if you spin the map, you can grab one. Then when you make it up to the top of that section, there's one to the right when you spin the map. Then go left this time when you're on the top of that section all the way around, and you can drop down and grab another one. Then once you've got all those, keep climbing to the top and you'll see an entire whole cube on the left side. Then when you're done with that, go over to the tree and it's actually a doorway that leads to another room. And in here, as soon as you enter, Dot will tell you that you actually can't spin the room in here. You have to use that pivot to spin the room. So as soon as you get the first cube and you make it to the pivot, spin it to the back side, and then there'll be a cube down below you that you have to drop down to. Then you'll have to make your way back up again and spin it again until the floating platforms are on your right, and then you can use them to climb up and make your way back across to get the cube piece that's on top of the pivot. And then after that, spin it a couple more times, and you should see a doorway. Or one more time is all it took, I'm sorry. And there's a doorway here, so go in there. And we've got another puzzle room. In this room, you've got 4 blocks, and they each have lines on them. And you need to drop them. There's 4 holes on each side. You need to drop the block to where it lines up with the lines. For example, I'll show you here. Let me get one of these blocks. And I'm slow, so bear with me. But see how the lines on the block actually line up with how the lines would correspond as well in the hole. You need to do that for every side. And then when you do, it'll open a doorway on the opposite side of where you came in. So go through it, and when you come to the other side, there's nothing to do in this room except grab the anti-cube. And you'll have to flip the map while you're in mid-jump to get up there. It can take a couple of times to get used to. So once you've got that anti-cube, I consider that area around the bell tower all done. And you can see the crying waterfalls right below it. But everything in this chain is done except for the room that requires you to have 64. Like I said, we'll get back to that. So, alright, stay tuned because I've got some more coming up for you. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.